You're never going to believe this. Shane Van Gisbergen wins again on a road course. Was Watkins Glen a good race? We'll recap that, talk a little bit about the points, and listen, the Gen 7 car, it delivered a dud of a race. We need to figure this out. Welcome back to Break Hard. I'm Matt. What an odd racing weekend. We have Austin Hill back on his nonsense again. Connor Zilch falls out of the car, breaks his collarbone. Thankfully, he's going to be okay. Thought it was going to be way more serious than that. Obviously, broken collarbone, still serious, but he's going to be all right. The Milwaukee Mile is underwater. It got flooded out. Alex Palou wins the championship. Will Power wins the race despite not knowing what his future is in IndyCar. Connor Daly gets punted off the track by Christian Rasmussen, and Shane Van Gisbergen goes to victory lane once again in the NASCAR Cup Series. Just a lot happening this weekend. We're going to start off with that, though. SVG wins his fourth road course race in a row, becomes the all-time winningest rookie driver in NASCAR Cup Series history, the fastest ever in modern era NASCAR history to 5 wins in his first 38 races. Austin Dillon took him 393 races to get to 5 wins. He's at 430 starts now. Was that a ricochet shot? Yes, it was. It, in fact, was a ricochet shot. But before we get into what happened during the race, was this a good race? Was the NASCAR Cup Series race at Watkins Glen on Sunday a good race? I'm going to give it a 44, which I believe might be the lowest I've rated a race this year. This was a dud. This was a snoozer. This was 2 hours and 10 minutes of sitting around going, we know what the outcome is here. We can just go ahead and skip to the end of it because, well, it was SVG all day long. There's a lot that goes into this, why this race was a dud, why it went by so quickly. I'm not upset it went by quickly because, honestly, it ended, before 5:30-ish? Yeah, before 5:30. Had an early dinner, did a live closing last podcast. I'll link that in the description below. You can go back and rewatch Cam and I breaking down the race and talking about everything this weekend. But overall, not a good race at all. Not good. Not good. I don't know what else to compare it to other than to say it's not good. It's like when I sat down and tried to give The Big Bang Theory a watch, and I said, this is not good. Why do people watch this? I understand it if people sat down and watched that race on Sunday and said, this isn't good. I get it. It wasn't good. It was not the best product that NASCAR's ever put out, especially at a track like Watkins Glen. Let's talk about what happened in stage number 1, though, and it honestly wasn't a lot. We did have Alex Bowman and William Byron make contact, some Hendrick on Hendrick violence. They both were fine. Byron just kind of got moved up out of the lane. He turned into the corner, not thinking the 48 was there, I guess, into turn 6. Spoiler, he was there. 24 went wide off the racetrack, lost like 3 spots in the process of that. Then we had Kyle Larson. He spins very early on, spins down to turn 1 by himself, says he has a brake issue. They come in, they fix the car. Ultimately, another bad day for him. He had a bad night in Knoxville on Saturday at the Knoxville Nationals, had a bad day on Sunday at Watkins Glen. Then we had Ryan Blaney lead basically every single lap of stage number 1 until they decided to flip the stage. And I wrote down on my notes, basically SVG was just stalking the 12 car of Ryan Blaney. He was like a mountain lion watching a novice hiker with new REI boots on going, I can get you if I want to, but I'll sit back here and see how this is going to go first, decide if I need to go do it. Ultimately, they end up flipping the stage. Chris Buescher goes on to win stage number 1. Alex Bowman comes in second. Ryan Preece in third. What's interesting about that, those are the 3 guys that are battling it out in the points right now to make it into the playoffs. They are currently sitting 15th, 16th, and 17th in the points. And Ryan Preece, who needs to gain as many points as he could, got 8 stage points. That's fantastic, except the other 2 guys that finished in front of him also gained on him. So he got stage points, but also lost ground at the same time. Just a brutal blow for him. If we all get stage points, nobody gets stage points. Essentially what it came down to there. Stage number 2. We have SVG goes 3 wide into the bus stop. He gets around Ryan Blaney. That would be for the eventual race lead. And from there, he got the track position. And you pretty much knew this race was done and dusted from that point on. He blows past Ryan Preece, who stayed out on old tires. And that was really all she wrote on Sunday. Alan Gustafson left Chase Elliott also out on old tires to start stage number 2. And that was the wrong call. Absolutely the wrong call. And I know that Chase Elliott fans are going to get really upset at Alan for doing that. Oh, it cost us and made us look like fools, blah, blah, blah. Your crew chief is trying to get your driver some track position. That's all this was. And ultimately, it ended up not working out. They did get a caution that saved them in a sense, that allowed them to come to pit road to put fresh tires on. Josh Berry gets spun out by Ty Dillon off the carousel in turn 5 there, and gets spun out and then gets finished off by Zane Smith. He hits the barriers. NASCAR doesn't throw a caution for that. Thought they would. It seemed like decent enough contact. They didn't throw a caution for that. They ended up throwing a caution for debris that was left on the racetrack there. And that was the only natural caution that we had on Sunday. The other 2 were just for the stage breaks. Then we have Last lap of stage number 2, John Hunter Nemechek shoves the 43 of Eric Jones, his teammate, off in the S's. And then Ty Gibbs apparently just wanted to rekindle their NASCAR Xfinity Series rivalry and just absolutely shipped the 42 of John Hunter Nemechek in the carousel off into the tire barriers more efficiently than Amazon Prime has ever got you a package in your life. It was textbook if you're looking to send somebody. Not really sure why he did that, but hey, he sent the 42 off into the barriers there. And then you have Ryan Blaney win stage number 2. Alex Bowman picked up stage points again. Alex Bowman needs those stage points. If he's not going to win, he needs to point his way in. We'll talk about the points after this, though. In stage number 3, Kyle Busch gets turned by a chain reaction, gets turned sideways by Denny Hamlin, who got hit by Ross Chastain, I believe. The 8 and the 11 make contact. They both drive away from it. Nothing bad happens there. Lap 54, SVG went back to the lead and kind of just took the lead forever there. Like, it was just SVG's race from there on out. We also had an interesting radio exchange between Ty Gibbs and his not crew chief, but definitely is his crew chief now, Chris Gabehart. Ty was super upset. He was not happy. And he sounded like a spoiled rich kid on the radio. It didn't sound great. I'll say that. He definitely not Connor Jones level, but like still not very good. And Chris Gabehart wasn't putting up with it. And he was like, you want to call strategy from in the car? Go ahead and call it. If not, shut up and let's roll with what we've got here. And that's what Ty needs. Ty needs somebody to tell him to shut up, right? Like, that's just is what it is. Needs somebody to keep him in check. Doesn't need another yes man around him. And Chris Gabehart's that guy. Gabehart obviously knows how to put together race-winning cars. He did it with Denny Hamlin. That entire organization is still winning over there. 3 of the 4 cars have wins, not the 54 car, though. Ty's got to get it together. I mean, he's about to be through his 3rd NASCAR Cup Series season without a win, 3.5 essentially, because of those years that he did in the 45, or the years, those races he did in the 45, then the 23 car as well in 2022. Yeah, 2022. He's got to get it together. He just absolutely needs to figure it out going forward because that was just bad all around. We had John Hunter Nemechek go around late on the backstretch. Wasn't enough to bring out a caution. I'm sure SVG was sweating that out. You had Brad Keselowski cut a tire down the closing laps as well. Brad Keselowski, who went after Carson Hocevar in practice and qualifying on Saturday. I've never seen Brad move that quickly in his life. I've never seen Brad Keselowski run. It's a lot like watching Peyton Manning run. It's not pretty. You're very concerned about him, and it looks like an injured gazelle for the most part. Goes down there, gets in Carson's face. Carson said, I couldn't hear him. I had my helmet on anyways. All right, that's Carson Hocevar in a nutshell there. But all of that to say, Shane Van Gisbergen, once again, goes on to win his 4th straight road course win, 4th win of the season, ties him for most in the NASCAR Cup Series this year. He's got the 3rd most amount of playoff points now as well. And hey, he really just has to be mediocre through the first round. He gets the 2nd round if he wins at the Roval. He moves on to the round of 8 with relative ease. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. I'm just saying that there is a clear path for him to make it to the round of 8. And then God knows what happens when he gets there. People could be angry once again. And I'm interested to see how it's all going to play out there. But overall, not the best race we've ever seen by any means whatsoever. But it was certainly a race that happened. And now we'll move on to Richmond next week and see what, that brings. Obviously, last year was a bit chaotic there at the end. But our top 10, Shane Van Gisbergen obviously gives you the win. Christopher Bell gets around Chris Buescher on the last lap. So Bell in 2nd, Buescher in 3rd, William Byron in 4th, Chase Briscoe once again with another top 5 finish. That 19 team is quietly really, really good right now. Ryan Blaney in 6th, your pole sitter. Daniel Suarez in 7th, a quiet top 10 for Daniel Suarez. Triple top 10 day for Trackhouse as well. Bubba Wallace comes home in 7th. And then you have Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace in 8th. My apologies. Daniel Suarez in 7th, Bubba Wallace in 8th, Tyler Reddick in 9th, Michael Jordan there to watch 2 of his 3 cars finish in the top 10. And Ross Chastain rounds out your top 10. Sorry, we got all mixed up right there. Solid top 10 day. AJ Allmendinger probably we thought was going to be a bit more of a factor. Wasn't a factor at all on Sunday. Unfortunate for him. Where do the points stand at right now? Well, we have 3 open spots. 2 races to go, which means that one driver will point their way in to this championship battle. Right now, it is Tyler Reddick. He is plus 117. I saw some people saying, why didn't he lock in after this race? If he would have been like plus 123, I believe he would have locked in to the playoffs. He did not. he will lock in after Richmond, assuming he doesn't have some sort of catastrophic incident happen on the racetrack in terms of like losing a ton of points. Alex Bowman right now plus 60, and then you have Chris Buescher plus 34 over the cutoff line, that being Ryan Preece. He has 34 points below the cutoff line, and then it goes down to must win. Kyle Busch 102 below, Ty Gibbs 125, and AJ Allmendinger 129 below. Those are all must win positions for those guys there. So there is a scenario where we have a repeat winner this upcoming weekend in Richmond, that both Tyler Reddick and Alex Bowman could point their way into the playoffs. If that does happen, that leaves one spot remaining for Daytona. That either would go to Chris Buescher, Ryan Preece, or a potential new winner, which would be kind of devastating for Buescher there. But if Alex Bowman is plus 62 above the cutoff line after Richmond, and we have a repeat winner, I believe he should be able to lock in to that playoffs for the championship come Darlington Southern 500 in 2 weeks. So we'll wait and see how all of that plays out. So the discourse around NASCAR this week is absolutely going to be how bad the road course racing is. They turned Watkins Glen into an absolute snoozer. Although I don't think people want to admit that like those Chase Elliott wins in like 2018, 2019 weren't very good races. They were definitely track position races. They were definitely affected by aero a ton in those races as well. But we've seen Watkins Glen over the decades give us good races. And what we saw on Sunday was not a good race at all. And it wasn't Shane Van Gisbergen's fault. Shane Van Gisbergen is that much better than everybody else. I mean, he wins by 11 seconds because he's that good in these race cars. It's not his fault, though, that the car races poorly. And I think that's the big takeaway from this, is the car is too good, essentially. When the Gen 7 car came out, we were told that it was the panacea, the fix-all. It's going to make everything better. And in return, it made short tracks, road courses, and super speedways worse, but made intermediates absolute bangers. So on one hand, they fixed the problem that they had, which was the fact that intermediates were bad, but then they took their best products and made them worse. So a real flip of the switch here for NASCAR. And it's unfortunate. And I know we've all beat this drum of like, hey, we need to fix this car. We need to fix this car. And it just hasn't worked out at all. I mean, even Dale Jr., who has been the most vocal voice in this sport last week on his podcast, talking about this car, he's like, what's the point? He sounds more dejected than Frank the Tank does talking about the Mets at this point. It's unfortunate that people are, kind of giving up on this. It seems like people have just kind of, pushed their papers into the center of the table, tossed their hands up, washed their hands of this, and they're like, listen, can't fix the Gen 7 car, might as well wait around for the Gen 8 car. And it's like, well, okay, that's not going to be for a few years now, though, and I don't think we can keep going at this current trajectory of the poor races that we've seen. Short tracks, bad. Road courses, bad. Super speedways, outside of Atlanta, Daytona, and Talladega, bad. They're not good races to watch anymore. Just gridlock because nobody can go anywhere. And I don't know how much longer we can sustain this. Yeah, we know that there's things that they could try with the car. Obviously, more horsepower is certainly something that would help, but nobody seems to really be wanting to go that direction. Now, NASCAR does appear to be in 2026 willing to bump the short track horsepower up, even though I think the horsepower everywhere should get bumped up. But there's still some people that aren't sure about it, which is super frustrating from a fan's perspective. Sure, it's not my money, so I don't really care, but I understand why, people would be slightly, not psyched about the idea of having to spend more money here. At the same time, I think we all agree that a smaller brake package, a narrower tire would certainly probably try to help things. But fundamentally, this car is just designed the wrong way. I mean, we talked about the other day, it's nose up, rear down. Every stock car in history has always been nose down, rear up, and the rake of the car is just backwards. We need the car to be up in the nose because we need the air to run underneath the car to make the diffuser active, because a lot of the downforce for this car comes from the underbody. If you take the underbody off, well, we're going to have to design new bodies to create the downforce being on the top of the body now. So there's a lot of things that go into this, and none of them are easy fixes by any means. I'm not saying that they're easy fixes, but I am saying that I think that there needs to be a long, hard look at what could possibly make the racing better in the short term, because yeah, I haven't seen fans this mad in a while. And don't get me wrong, NASCAR fans are always upset. They're always mad about something. They're never happy with NASCAR. But in this situation, people are mad about the points. People are mad about stages. People are mad about the broadcast. People are mad about the car. There isn't seemingly one thing that people are happy with right now. And it's disappointing. It bums me out because I just want to see this sport get better. But there's no clear answer either. And I think that's the frustrating part for people. on one hand, people are like, fix the car. I get that. On the other hand, they don't think NASCAR is listening to them. And there's this real tug of war going on right now, whether it be from the NASCAR side of thing and the fan side of thing. And I'm not saying cater to your diehard hardcore fans. Do like a fan service, everything. I'm not saying that by any means. But I think there needs to be a bit of a compromise here. I think fans just want something to be simpler. They want a more simple race car. A lot of them don't care about the current things that are going on. They don't care about a transaxle. They don't care about a sequential gearbox. They don't care about an underbody. They don't care about stuff like that, single lug. They don't care about stage racing, stage points, elimination rounds, and everything like that. People just want something that's a little bit more simple. On the other hand, NASCAR's gone down this road so far that they can't see the starting line in the rearview mirror anymore. And now they got to try to fix this. And there's an unwillingness from certain sides to try to fix it. There's a willingness from other sides, but there seems to be no compromise in the middle. And the fans, unfortunately, are the ones that are stuck in the middle of it here. And I would hate to see people stop tuning in because the racing's bad. But the racing hasn't been very good in the last few weeks. And it's frustrating, right? We go to a short track, all we hear about is aero blocking and how you can't pass anybody. We go to Dover, same thing. We go to road courses, same thing. After a while, I think people just get fatigued out. It's a long season too, and football's about to start up, and it gives people something else to watch on Sundays. So I think that, there needs to be a long, hard look at this, and I hope that there is in the future. But right now, I'm just not sure what the solution's going to be, and it's not a, snap overnight fix in this situation either. It's going to cost millions upon millions of dollars, and it's going to take months to get it done. And I just don't know if anybody has the time or the money or the willingness to do that right now. So let me know in the comments what you thought about the race. Was it good? Shane Van Gisbergen winning again? And what are your changes? What are the changes you want to see happen to the sport as it currently stands? Like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on TikTok @BreakHard, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook @BreakHardBlog.